honestly, before you ask, I'm not going to do it since I've also never even been to Africa, and also like to keep. And we are live. Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure that VC Face had not frozen on me. Hello. So, for this episode, I think what we're going to do is go to the Tower of Mana, or the Human Ranch. I'm not sure.
You're gonna regret this. Get him!
I was just warming up.
Not much of a specimen. Get some! Near thrust! Get him!
Like that?
Yeah, that's weird. Like, so my is kind of acting funny. Like, the other day it was like really swollen on like
All right.
the bottom right side, and now the swelling's gone, but I have this like popping if I like try and have something
This is
chewy,
gonna
and
be a
it's
piece
on
of
the
cake.
left side. It can't be like an allergy for the I mean, since I know for a fact that I'm not allergic to anything that I ate yesterday.
Get him!
Perhaps it was just
That was pathetic.
it needed to be brushed or something? Will it though? I mean, I don't know if this is one of the... It could be a case where it's saved from a certain perspective, and...
Don't you guys let up! Get him! Light Pancake time! Stalagmite!
Just as I expected.
Not much of a specimen.
Pretty good.
Double demon fang.
Bother me!
Don't overdo it.
Round! Get him! Red! Pancake time!
The only other place I can think of that I enjoy that I haven't already is the Tower
was
of
just
Mana,
warming
so
up.
that's what we're off to, I guess. So on the topic of stuff that's going on around the internet, you may have seen the Mama Max drama. And, you know, I may have mentioned this before, but I think it's strange how that where I tend not to, like even find out about creators who get involved in huge controversies. Like, I didn't know about Too Mad or E445 before their controversies. Even though both of them had over 1 million subs on YouTube. Too Bad I
Don't overdo
think
it.
still does. In fact, let me double check. Too Mad. Yeah, he has 2.19 subs. 2.19 subs.
First aid!
Before you ask, I did not actually go to his channel. I actually went to his social blade.
Just as I expected.
you guys let up? Get him! Found your weakness.
Take this. First aid.
Get him!
Aren't we clever? Aren't we clever? Don't overdo it.
Get him!
First aid. Take this. First aid.
Get him!
Don't overdo it. First aid.
Come get some! Near thrust!
Don't overdo it. First aid.
Don't bother me!
Demon Fang! Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
Come
Don't
get
overdo
some!
it.
Near thrust!
Demon Fang! Sonic Sword Blade!
Keep working on it, okay?
I do have to wonder if someone will notice the pattern
Don't get too comfortable.
in pursuing the with the stream titles, and what if they'll realize it's a reference.
Don't overdo it. Do it. First aid.
Just as I expected.
Spoiler alert, she does join our party.
Be careful, everyone. Get him!
Won't work. Take this. First aid.
Get him! Icicle!
Don't overdo it. First aid.
Get him! Don't laugh!
Don't overdo it. Aren't we clever? Don't overdo it. First aid.
Get him! Red!
Don't overdo it. First aid.
Drown! Get him! Red! Keep working on it, okay?
I can solve the problem. Okay, so I have...
This is gonna be a piece of cake.
Okay. Get some. Ear thrust. Too bad. Okay. Come get it.
All right. This is gonna be a piece of cake. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Sonic double demon.
Down. Red.
picked the wrong guy to mess with.
Okay, so it turns out I was mistaken. I thought we would go to the Tower of Mana next, but in reality, we're actually going to Lewin, which I've already visited, and the very good news is that I already got the membership.
Going no.
So
That's that. Don't get too comfortable. Double demon cannon.
Pretty good.
Don't overdo it. First aid.
Pancake time! Stalagmite! Too bad.
Work.
Pancake time! Stalagmite! Get him!
Just as I expected.
You're gonna regret this!
Let's get out of here. Gotta know when to go.
hey, apologize for not realizing you were there, or it's just I was looking up where to go next for IGN, next on IGN. Shouldn't be the devastated city. So much for going that way. So, you know, I may have mentioned this, but I kind of want to do some, like, debates,
it's you
not
guys.
political ones, mind you,
You wanna
but
finish
it
me
would
off,
be with,
now's
like,
your
other
chance.
content creators. And there's at least two people I would want to debate. The first is Blair White, simply because,
Enemy
well,
strength
she's
left
really
across.
spineless. Like, if you really want to
You're
trigger
hurt.
Blair White,
I will.
just
It
call
seems
her
she has
Tiffany
companions.
Tumble. She's
Professor?
blocked a few people.
Call me what you like.
Well, all because of
Take a
that.
look
Like,
at this city.
it's a nickname ContraPoints
Everything's
gave her.
The designs.
The second is Star Wars theory, simply because, well, he has
know about
no
the human ranch,
awareness.
The people of the designs found out about it.
If you don't
So
know, he
how-
recently
it's
got in
nothing.
trouble on Twitter because, well, he's making this Vader fan film, which
It's
required
Clara.
Luke Skywalker. or to appear. Now, you'd think that he would just find a lookalike. Hell, there's this Indiana Jones shot-for-shot remake that these fans did of Raiders of the Lost Ark, which used lookalikes, and I heard that was pretty good. But no, he used AI. Yeah, like, the thing is,
She's lost a
we
lot of
just had a
blood.
huge strike over this. Like, of all the things you could decide to do, you would go with, like, AI. And it wasn't just, like, an AI voice, which would be its own can of worms. He also used, like, AI to replicate Mark Hamill's appearance.
You're right.
Did I mention
Professor,
that Star
please
Wars
heal her.
Theory is also an Andrew Tate fan? Like, he's
Professor,
probably one of the worst
please.
Star Wars content creators on YouTube. Like, there might be some, like,
Fine.
general
But I
creators who
swear,
might
you're all
make
way
worse
too
content than
soft-hearted for your own good.
he does, but overall, Star Wars Theory is just someone I really think should get it humiliated. Like, I'm not saying deplatform him. Like, if he still wants to make videos,
Why?
that's
Probably
fine,
for
but
the
he
same
really
reason
needs
you
someone to
saved that
take him
man.
down a notch. Or hell, you know what I would have done if I was in Star Wars Theory's shoes? I would have just, like, used someone who can mimic Mark Hamill's voice and just not show the call. Like, you don't need to see everything, just like you don't need everything explained.
Thanks. I know it's...
A favor.
I owe the people...
For example,
please,
if you...
help me save these people.
Let's say that there were three characters. One of them had a gun, and you showed them the character who had the gun drawing
If you
it.
agree, I'll declare a truce with you and
You
help
would
in
not
any
need
way
to
I
show
can.
the second of them fire in it to confirm that they were the one who shot and killed the third person. You just need to show the second of impact.
All right.
Lloyd, are you...
I agree with Lord.
Colette, not...
What about you?
I see no problem.
Fine. I suppose if we look at it another...
You better watch out so you don't...
Yes! Finally! Okay, who should I switch out for her? I always like it whenever a new party member is the same level as everyone else. Yeah, like, I actually... You know, fun fact, you know Nintendo Power? I actually remember... I'm pretty sure I remember reading, like this in old copies that my friend had. That's actually how I first found out about this game. Like, Nintendo Power talked about it a ton. Like, this was pretty much like the Final Fantasy X for Nintendo fans. That's back in the days of the GameCube. I heard this along with F10 and Dragon Quest VIII, I believe. They were kind of like a holy trilogy of early RPGs. I do actually have Dragon Quest VIII and Final Fantasy X, albeit on the 3DS and Vita. If I could figure out how to hook those systems up, I would be okay with streaming them, although if I was going to stream 10, I would probably be better off just, like, getting it on Steam.
This is gonna be a piece of...
In fact, I'm going to double-check something. Yeah, it is on Steam. In, like, double edition, actually.
Cake.
You know, I also wonder. You're probably aware of how, like, starting with 7, like, square jump ship from Nintendo to Sony. Suppose that they
Just
had
as I
actually decided to stay with Nintendo and, like, FF Final Fantasy X had been like an N64 game, how different do you think it would have been? I don't think it would have been that different graphically. Ooh, that reminds me. Fun fact about Final Fantasy VII. There was actually a very different game that was proposed for it. Would you care to guess what game that is? You might be able to guess if you're familiar with other RPGs that came out around the same time, but it's probably not going to be the first guess.
Keep working on it, okay?
The game that was originally proposed to be Final Fantasy VII was Xenogears. Yes, that technically means that Xenoblade started off as a Final Fantasy game. It's very interesting to wonder how different things would have been if they'd gone with that direction. Honestly, I would love it if Nintendo got a remake of Xenogears and Xenosaga made. If only because of as I would love to see what those were sent. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they aren't at least considering it, since, hey, there's a whole generation of Xenoblade fans who would probably be willing to play. On the topic of old games, there's actually one that I kinda went back and played for a while and had a very interesting experience with. Fair enough, I haven't played much of the Final Fantasy games aside from a bit of 10 and a lot of 4. The actual Final Fantasy 4, not but one. Or which I think was Final Fantasy 2 in the US. Oh yeah, it was basically the game. It was the Game Boy Advance version of Final Fantasy IV. I'm old, but I'm not that old. I do plan on playing 14 at some point. I mean, quite a few streamers, both vtubers and non-vtubers that I follow, play 14. I might as well do it if only so I have an MMO I can reliably stream.
All right.
I do find it. There is one thing I find kind of weird about Final Fantasy XIV, and no, it's not like the fact that the game managed to survive its god-awful release. I can actually see that, since hey, they stuck with it and they continue to improve it. I've seen other games turn around. No Man's Sky, I've heard, is actually a pretty good game now. I might actually check it out one day. But no, it's the fact that everyone seems to forget that it's actually the second in Final Fantasy MMO. Final Fantasy XI and still kind of exists. You know what I'm kind of reminded of right now? Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door's second world, I believe. Basically, in that world, what happened was there was a race war similar to just something like the Desians and everyone else. The difference was that, well,
here in
Yeah,
the
that's
world of hurt.
that's really ironic. But anyways, I forget the names of the races. There's like, one was the Queens, I think. I forget the name of the other one, but long story short, it was like really apparent in which side was supposed to be the good one, since you only sided with one side. I bring this up because there actually was like one of the hostile race who was actually the friend of like the NPC who brought you into, who was like your guide, that you actually did get to recruit. I wonder if like one of the remaining party members is going to be like a friendly Decian. I could see it going either way, but would be very interesting. So you know, you probably have seen like how Mama Max is trending, and I did mention this earlier, but it did make me wonder something. Will YouTube actually learn a lesson from this? I mean, as in like the community as a whole, not like the company, although you could kind of say that that's the case as well. I bring this up because this is actually the second time I remember that someone's tried to use like catching pedos as an as a way to
this
map
is an X-Sphere manufacturing plant.
Questionable behavior.
So it would seem.
You may remember, or Matt is what it is. I think his name is.
These are all X-Spheres? Incredible.
If you don't, basically he tried to take a similar stance to what Mama Max was doing, except it was, instead of like making it his bread and butter, it was like he started a campaign.
I don't hear anything.
The difference is that with Matt is what is.
Be careful and
What he did was basically like want to go for like YouTube's entire ad revenue.
Uh-oh. These are
They still think we're Decians.
Whereas Mama Max is basically
Sir,
like
this
trying
is
to
a
like
perfect chance.
intimidate other creators into like helping him.
Are you looking for a fight?
I'm not the first one to make this comparison, by the way, so at least I'm not the only
Wait.
one who remembers
Kratos
this. And
is with them.
hey, there are
We'll
videos
retreat for
documenting
now.
Matt is what it is actually, let me double check. Yeah, it is Matt is. Yeah, it's actually Matt's what it is. In case you're curious why I'm not referring to him by his real name, which is public information, by the way, it's because, well, his real name is actually Matt
You know each
Watson,
other?
and that's the same name as
I
one of
suppose.
the
If you mean the fact that we ran into them at
former
Iselia entry,
hosts of Super
I think
Mega,
it would
which
be in both our interests for
I
us
wouldn't
not to
entirely be
fight.
surprised if Super Mega came back, since, well,
Do what
it
you
turns
will.
out that the cancellation attempt on them has basically backfired. Like, a lot of people are actually starting to change sides.
Colette! Kratos!
I thought for a second there they were going to be like paralyzed
okay.
or something.
No time for that.
Huh?
Well, this is a surprise. When I heard we had some rats, I assumed it was the renegade boater. But I must say that I'm quite impressed that
Who are you?
you barge into mine.
Wow, Lloyd. Isn't this you?
Genus, this is not the time.
He's Kavar, one of the 5 Desian Grand Cardinals.
Okay, I could understand and guessing he was one of the higher ups, but how
I
does
see that
Radius
some of you
the
know me.
exact cardinal?
It's just as Forcistus said. That X-Sphere is without a doubt the product of my Angelus project.
Good job, Colette.
Here I was thinking we'd actually have a boss fight. I mean, I am kind of ready for one.
This is gonna be a piece of cake.
You know, on the topic of Final Fantasy, I do have to wonder, what will be the actual Final Fantasy? Like, I highly doubt it's going to be a case where they'll say, okay guys, we've let the franchise run its course, we're going to, like, this is going to be the last one that we'll make. I get the feeling that what would actually cause the end of Final Fantasy would be, like, a game absolutely tanking sales-wise. Although, considering that, like, even Final Fantasy 13, which I've heard was pretty bad, haven't actually played it or even watched much, like, Let's Plays, but I've heard nothing but bad things about
Don't
it.
get too comfortable.
Wasn't enough to kill the franchise, or for that matter, the launch of Final Fantasy 14.
That was just warming up.
Yeah, probably. Like, even then, I'd probably think that they'd probably stick to, like, just remastering the stuff that already existed. And, like, I do think that there's a time where that it's possible we could have a future where no new Final Fantasy games get made, but I do think the franchise is probably going to stay.
This is where the X-Spheres are removed from the host body.
Do you mean that
Not exactly. They extract nourishment from humans to grow. Human ranchers are X-Sphere men. Why else would we spend our time raising and taking care?
That's terrible.
Terrible. Stealing and using
It's kind of like, I actually think that
so much time.
even if like, Final Fantasy was to, like, tank, it would probably end up in a situation similar to Metal Heroes, where, like, the older stuff is still used, but, like, they don't make any new stuff. Yeah, I don't think it'll happen for a long time either. Like, at the bare minimum, they would have to shut down Final Fantasy 14 and first, and I don't see that happening.
We're surrounded.
Like, I think Square Enix would probably go bankrupt before that would happen.
Lloyd, your X-Sphere was to be an offering to Lord Yggdrasil. It's time.
Yggdrasil? I suppose that's the name of your...
Yes. Now, for the sake
Yeah,
of our
I don't
great
think that.
Lord
I think that
Yggdrasil,
the
and for
most
sake of
likely
my own
scenario is
success,
some other company buys out Final Fantasy 14, but I don't see that happening either.
I need that X-Sphere.
Again?
That is the result of years of time-consuming research. I can finally reclaim what was stolen, but
What are you talking about? The female host body? You're not talking about...
that X-Sphere was cultured on host body A012. Human name, Anna. Your mother. She took it and escaped from the facility, of course.
You killed my...
Now, don't blame me.
My...
Please. When her key crestless X-Sphere was and your father.
Do not speak ill of the dead.
Who cares?
I'm gonna enjoy cutting this guy to pieces.
Oh. I'm gonna use the last one, Grandpa.
Huh, that does explain why we didn't fight a Wind Guardian.
They disappeared. Your orders, sir.
Let them go. We can find them. Right now, the more find the renegade.
Thank you, Sheena. Don't mention it.
Let's return to...
I concur.
Okay.
Would have been nice if the game actually, like, took me to Lewin. So yeah, like, I did mention how I want to, like, debate Blair White, and you want to know what would be, like, my dream debate? Me and Kirsch teaming up to debate Blair White and Tim Pool. But, like, I know that Kirsch probably is
I can't believe this is Marble's life.
on the probably on a very different side of the spectrum, politically speaking, than me, but I do think that there'd be some common ground between the two of us. In case you're curious why I said Tim Pool and Kirsch, Kirsch has actually said that she wants to debate Tim Pool at some point.
What will you accomplish by taking that off? It's not just an X-sphere. It's also your mother's life, remember?
But these things make a mockery of human life.
But we would have lost long ago had we not had them.
Yeah, that
Don't
is
you think
true.
I know that?
Do you really? Do you think you can finish this journey?
Yeah, I know. We can fight, but X-spheres exist.
And those people didn't become victims, but I doubt they would want to be thrown away after being...
My opinion may not matter much because
my
we won't use
question.
an X-sphere.
Is, like, the
I
soul
believe
still
the
in the
Desians
X-Sphere?
will defeat us if we throw away our
I mean, I
X-sphere
don't
now.
think there's going to be, like, a case where, like, Lloyd could, like, convince his mom's spirit to come
And
out
if
and
that
talk to him, but
happens,
I do.
more
That is
people
actually
will lose
something
their
I'm very
lives to
curious.
these
Like,
stones.
would there be
I
a
don't
difference
want that to
between two
happen.
X-spheres in
I
terms
don't want this
of
journey to be meaningless.
powers based on the personality?
Colette's right.
No, I
We can
actually
throw
wanna
away
start-
the X-spheres at
start
any
seeing
time.
if there's, like, any serious analysis of the X-spheres.
But right and fight. Didn't you say you...
Yeah. Mom, to prevent create... I'm going to help...
Yeah. Me too.
People are sick. Then we must continue to bear the burden of...
Life's... I don't really know how to say it. They have to be stopped at all costs.
Yeah, fair enough. So I did mention how, like, I'm waiting for a particular mod for Skyrim to come out before I do, like, a series on it, or rather a few of them. You might be wondering, what about Fallout New Vegas? That's actually a different story, and I might have mentioned this already, but long story short, I want, like, a decent number of fans so I can have them, like, choose a bunch of quest mods. I do have quite a few that I enjoy, but it would be kind of boring if I just did ones I enjoy. And yes, that does hypothetically mean I could be talked into playing Fallout the Frontier. For better or for worse. Although it would have to be something like really special. Well, like, someone would have to, like, either super chat me a request for it, or, like, it would have to be a request from someone I really like. Obviously, there are mods I would turn down. Like, basically, it would only be stuff from Nexus. It's mods, or at least stuff I could verify. If it broke the terms of service, it's not an option.
You're gonna regret this.
Let's get out of here. Gotta know when to go.
honestly, one game I actually have been kind of on the fence if I want to do a series or not is Age of Empires 2. Like, I say this because, well, the campaigns
Don't get too comfortable.
are like something I could obviously do as a story, similar to how I did a playthrough of Age versus Germany and TNF, but on the other hand, like, the missions all vary in length, so it's entirely possible I could, like, have the awkward case where it only takes me 2 days to finish, depending on the campaign. I may have mentioned this before, but Age of Empires 2 has actually been, like, cited in an academic journal. Well, it was honestly something I was very surprised to read. On the topic of the Age of Empires franchise, there's this one spin-off called Age of Mythology, which is getting a remake or a remaster. And there is one thing I really hope they add, a new civilization. Specifically, I would love it if they added a Slavic civilization. For a few reasons. First of all, how often can you think of games or media in general that feature Slavic genres? Also, they actually could have a chance to make a truly balanced civilization, since, well, one of the complaints for both the Titans and the re-release is that the two civilizations introduced in the expansion and remake, the Atlanteans, which were basically the closest thing to the Romans, with a bit of Aztec influence, and the Chinese, was that they were incredibly unbalanced. Although oddly enough, in competitive, things do balance out.
Don't get too comfortable. Work.
But if they would actually, like, make a balanced Slavic civilization, that would probably, like, bring a lot of life into the game. There is one other thing I can't help but wonder about Age of Empires. So, if you don't know, Ensemble Studios, who also made Halo Wars,
Come get some! Ear thrust!
had basically had a trend of, like, continuing forward in time, and when they released Age of Empires 3, they had this poster that basically showed 5 different time periods. The first was 3 were equivalent to the time periods that Age of Empires 1, 2, and 3 took place in.
Gotta know when to go.
And the 4th was around World War II, and the 5th would have been futuristic. I can't help but wonder, suppose that they actually had in fact decided to go, that Relic, who also makes the Dawn of War and Company of Hero games, those games, had decided to go through with that. How different would things have been? I mainly say that because I actually am very curious how Age of Empires would handle air combat, which a World War I, World War II Age of Empires game would have to include. Okay, I'm guessing that I can remove this rock.
be intimidated by their number.
Okay, that was actually a very kind of clever monster design. You know, while I'm happy with my lore, and Persona as a spy VTuber, I have been wondering what I would have done differently if I, like, had to go back.
Not too bad.
I'd probably go with an animal VTuber, and would you care to guess what animal I'd choose? It's probably not the first choice you'd go. Yes.
Demon Fang!
I'd probably go with a puppet.
Get some! Air thrust! Not too bad.
Mainly because I don't think I've seen a puffin VTuber, but also I just really like puffins as animals. Still, I am curious, like,
Wrong guy to mess with.
what is the most notable animal that does not have a VTuber? Like, I know that there's a skunk VTuber, or like, there's probably some really specific species of a rather notable animal that's not present, but
This is gonna be a piece of cake.
Don't overdo it. First aid!
also on the topic of not represented,
I was just warming up.
I actually found myself doing a bit of a thought exercise to try and determine, like, if there's any countries that will not have any VTubers. Yeah, like, Tanukis are technically raccoons, but, like,
Don't get
Tanuki
too
specifically, I can't really think of anything. But anyways, as I was saying, I decided to try and think of any countries that could not have any VTubers, excluding government propaganda. And I actually determined that there is a way that the Vatican City, you know, where the Pope lives, could have a VTuber. And no, I'm not gonna say Pope Francis is gonna debut. It's actually much more mild, and they'll be like, oh yeah, that makes sense the second I explain. I actually think that if there's ever a VTuber from the Vatican City, it'll either be a staff at one of the embassies, or it'll be one of the Pope's Swiss guards.
Don't get too comfortable.
I don't think that they'll... Since after all, technically speaking, someone can be from a country either because they're born there or because they operate from there.
Sonic Thrust!
So I wouldn't entirely cross out the... Heck, if there are any VTubers from Switzerland right now, I wouldn't entirely cross out the possibility that
Don't overdo it.
they're one of the Pope's guards. Unless, of course, they're explicitly say they are. But that would be a very funny thing. Like, imagine in
Just
like
as I expected.
one of a VTuber is like streaming and he says, "Oh hey, do you guys want to meet my boss?" Sure, us. Come on, Pope Francis. Chat wants to talk to you. Like, that would be hilarious. It's what I'd do if it was a Swiss guard who was one of the VTubers. If I was one of the Swiss guards and a VTuber,
You're in for a world of hurt.
would probably become one. I wonder if that would technically make the stream a form of mass.
You picked the wrong guy to...
You're gonna regret this.
Get
I did spend a few seconds thinking of it, and I was able to think of one mythical creature that does not have a VTuber associated with it. The Hydra. Although, I actually think I can that's probably one of the more understandable ones, since, well, you'd probably want, like, a multiple people behind that VTuber, like, one for each person for each head. So it would be very hard to, like, pull off. You know, that's actually an interesting concept for a VTuber, like, multiple people operating from the same body, but, like, there'd be some like, visual distinction. Like, you know, Ana, that character from Joel G's animations? And it's like, I want to see someone be like a pair of VTubers do something like that, where basically whenever one person is talking, the model is one color, but when another person is talking, the model is a different color. Honestly, if Moko want to use that idea for a future model, they are more than welcome to steal it. They don't even need to give me credit. As long as I knew that someone else thought it was a good idea, I'd be very happy. I mean, I might appreciate them, like, sending me a private message saying, hey, we saw your idea and we're going to use it, but I would keep my lips shut if they did.
Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. First aid. Don't overdo it.
Ear thrust.
Don't overdo it.
So I may have mentioned how in the past I'm not a fan of the
You picked the wrong
Russian
night.
propagandist Gonzalo Lira. Well, he recently passed away in Ukrainian prison, and basically, it's kind of, it's both. It's something I'm, for the most part, aren't happy with, since, hey, he was doing nothing but bringing misery into the world. Also, he was arrested for treason, in which, if you don't know, is something that people have been sentenced to death for.
Reinforcements, huh?
Not just treason, but also espionage. Like,
Let's get out of here.
Mata Hari was actually executed
Gotta know
during
when to
World War I, even though what she was... Even though the stuff she was trading, she was selling in secrets for was... Even though the secrets she was selling were actually like,
You're gonna regret
just second-hand information at the time.
Let's get out of here.
Take this.
And in all honesty, and from what I've read, if she had, in fact, if this had been peacetime, she probably would have just been told, never come back to France. And honestly, I do think that she would get, like, a posthumous pardon. Like, it's been long enough. Like,
This is gonna be a peep. Let's get out of here. Gotta know when to go.
you know, on the topic of VTubers and animals, there is one thing I've actually found a bit curious. Why is it that I've never seen anyone accuse, like, any bird VTubers of being a ripoff of, like, Mume, but whenever an aquatic VTuber comes up, a VTuber based on, like, an aquatic something that swims in the ocean, they automatically get accused of ripping off either Gura or recently Shy Lily. Like, it just... Like, I've actually seen people accuse Yuko Yurei of Idol EN, a ghost, of ripping off Gura just because as Yuko was, well, blue-colored. Which, come on, is it really that hard to think that maybe Yuko didn't take inspiration from Gura, like, in terms of the model, like, Gura actually is Yuko's Oshi. But the thing is, people accusing Yuko of being a Gura clone got so bad that Yuko actually had to ban... Oh, wow. Yuko actually had to put Gura's name on the list of blocked words. It's actually why I'm kind of glad that my Oshi is Snuffy, who is a different gender than me, since I don't think anyone's gonna accuse me of being a Snuffy wannabe. I do have to wonder what VTuber people would compare me to. So I've been playing through the Factorio mod Crestorio 2 just for the sake of, like, testing it out, since I do plan on doing a future series for it. And there are a few things that I can say that I won't be doing. Is this guy a zombie? Or is he insane? Well, at least I don't have to actually fight him, like... But anyways, as I was saying, I think I actually need to blow my nose. Excuse me a second. One thing I'm going to be doing is just, like, sticking with the standard biter enemies, since, well, there are 4 mods that add unique biter enemies. Armored, explosive, frost, and toxic. The thing is, though, the armored biters take a lot more damage, but the ones that I find the most annoying are actually the frost biters, simply because they explode when you defeat them. Which means, well, you can probably figure out what happens if they're, oh, say, attacking conducting a mining drill. I actually thought of installing the Rampant mod, but the problem is that, well, said mod basically would make the biters a lot more aggressive, and, well, if I was going to use the Rampant mod, I would want on at least 2 or 3 other people, since, well, even if it was just on normal settings without... Okay, I did some reading ahead, and it looks like the thing that it would be good if I went back to Asgard and got some paralysis charms.
You're in for a world of hurt.
Get out of here! Gotta know when to go!
I only need 2.
You're gonna regret this.
It would be nice if, like, the overworld enemies there were more of a resemblance to humans if, like, if I was actually fighting humans.
Never stood a chance.
You know, I can't help but wonder. This game came out before God of War, and one of Kratos' titles, if I'm not mistaken, is War God? Considering what the current God of War franchise is, it would be kind of funny if Kratos was Lloyd's dad.
You're gonna regret this.
Demon Fang!
Found your weakness.
Demon Fang! Solid Thrust! Double Demon Fang! Don't overdo it. First aid! Sonic Thrust!
I think I will save tackling the next part for tomorrow's stream, since I am very close to setting up Phase 2 on my Crostorio 2 base, and also I would like to do more writing on that essay, so I'm going to say maybe go get those paralysis charms. Also, do they sell paralysis charms? Or did I miss out? Well, I doubt they would have, like... Ooh. Like a jewelry crafting system. You know what? I do need to level up anyway, so I might as well grind a bit.
You're gonna regret this.
Take this! Light Spear!
I hope Lloyd can use that technique.
Demon Fist Light Spear! Double Demon Fang.
Come get some! Ear thrust!
Just as I expected.
At least I won't have to do that many more. Or like 20 battles? That's doable.
You're gonna regret this! Stone blast!
Don't overdo it. First aid.
Lightning!
Just as I expected.
Don't you guys let up! Get him!
You picked the wrong guy to me. This is gonna be a piece of cake. You ain't going nowhere. Just as I expected. Let's go all out.
Sonic Flight Spear. Demon Fang Flight Spear.
Ear thrust!
Sonic Thrust.
Pancake time! Stalagmite!
Sonic Thrust.
Round!
Just as I expected.
You're in for a world of hurt. Get him!
Sonic Double Demon Fang.
Like that Aqua Edge!
Work. Don't overdo it. First aid. Work. Don't overdo it. First aid. Demon Fang.
Just as I expected.
You're in for a
Yeah,
world
I
of
might
hurt.
just make do with one
Sonic Double Demon Fang.
Ear thrust!
unparalysis charm.
Just as I expected.
I guess I'll level up Colette to level 23.
You're gonna regret this!
Demon Fang Flying Spear.
Get him! Aqua Edge!
Not bad, am I?
Huh, even the... It does kind of look destroyed on the overworld map.
This is gonna be a piece of cake. Let's get out of here. Gotta know when to go. This is gonna be a piece of cake. That was just warming up.
Gonna heal up and call it a stream here for reasons I already mentioned. But anyways, thank you for tuning in. Tomorrow there's gonna be a jailbreak. Or I guess you could say a human ranch break, I guess. But anyways, thank you for tuning in or watching the VOD. I don't judge how. Until next time, I'm Andreas Rebel, and I'll see you next assignment. Later.